No matter what, people will commit to misunderstanding you. What's most important is your commitment to understanding yourself. Hello, you guys. My name is Nkirk Madani, known as NK, and welcome back to Misunderstood. Coming to you live once again from the CoverGirl studio. I have been loving coming here once a month for almost a year now. I love the space, I love the team, and literally every single time they hand me some product. And this time there are new products to talk about, primarily the Squishy Glaze. This is a lip balm. One thing about me, I will put a lip balm on all the time. I absolutely will. And I'm putting it on right now, actually. This one is Raspberry Twist. They all smell incredible. There are 5 flavors and scents. And yes, I'm definitely going to take home all of them if they let me. This one is Cotton Candy Grapes. This one probably smells the absolute best. They all smell amazing, but I opened this and I literally cannot wait to put this on my lips. But 2 of them have a really pretty tint. The other ones are pretty translucent, but they smell so good. And I'm always looking for new lip balm. Today, we're talking about how to stay productive and focused in the winter. I want to break down a lot of ways that I have uplifted myself during winter. We are quite literally in the thick of winter. This is going up the first Monday of February. I've said this so many times to so many people. February is the worst month of the year, weather-wise, unfortunately. It is the worst winter month because we're almost at the end. February is technically the last full winter month, but it is so dreary and not fun. I have been in New York for 3 full years now, and technically I'm going to be entering my 4th February. So I have some credentials here. I have some backstory as to why I think I'm qualified to talk about this topic and really help to lift you guys out of maybe a negative space you are currently in. But before we get started, take some time right now to rate this podcast, Misunderstood, 5 stars. You guys know this podcast is such a safe space, and it has been really liberating to get on the mic, chat about literally everything. And the feedback from this podcast has been really, really beautiful to get to do this every week, but also really connect with so many people. If you are a fan of the pod, as you probably are, if you are listening to this podcast, please take some time right now to rate Misunderstood, this podcast, 5 stars on both Apple and Spotify. And if you're feeling fun and fancy, leave a written review on Apple. It helps a lot. Thank you so much. Right up top, I also want to say this is for everyone. This is for the girls who are in a 9-to-5. This is for girls who are not in 9-to-5. This is for the everyday person. I think it's really important to say that right up top because I understand that life can look very different depending on your work. Your work is probably the biggest part of your life in a lot of respects. So I really want to be cognizant about that. I want to include everyone in this conversation as we talk about really tangible step-by-step ways to stay productive and stay focused during the winter. Winter is a really tough season. I think arguably it's the toughest season of the year. We all have probably the least amount of motivation. We are just fighting for something to live for, honestly. And it is extremely hard to be productive and focused, especially in these pockets of life that aren't very bright. But here's the thing about productivity. It can be taught. It only takes a few minor tweaks in your everyday routine to actually make it a reality. And the thing about focus, we can definitely be focused on the things that matter to us, whether it be a fitness goal that we're striving for, or maybe we want to get a project done in a certain amount of time. There are a lot of things that we can absolutely strive for in the winter and still be successful at. There's a lot of things that I have put into motion specifically in the winter with hopes of actually getting it done. And I will be honest, the past few weeks have been rough, and that's actually what inspired this episode. I also want to say we are currently in a snowstorm right now in New York City. There is a lot of snow on the ground right now. It is 20 degrees. Yesterday, it was 13 degrees. We're in the trenches right now. So I fully believe I am qualified to talk about this topic, especially because 1, I am in one of the coldest cities in the country. 2, I'm somebody who loves to make sure that I'm staying uplifted, positive, and motivated. Obviously, this podcast is a very strong representation of that. Me putting putting my best foot forward and also really encouraging other people to do the same, to really practice these daily habits and feel better about themselves. But I think it is important to say right up top on this episode that no one is asking for perfection. We are just asking to move the needle forward. And we need to take a look at what we're doing to pivot and to alter certain things so that we can live a more pleasant winter and get through it. Honestly, thrive. We can thrive in the winter time. I'm about to give you a lot of ways you can absolutely do so for yourself. All right, number one is romanticizing your mornings. You guys know, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, I talk about romanticizing your life all the time. I think it is really important to make your life a very positive, happy, loving space. And there are so many very small, everyday ways we can do this. In the morning, I love to do a few things that make me feel really connected with myself. And especially in the wintertime where it's dreary outside, it is so cold. We need something to live for. We need those little wins and those little joys. These items can be little rituals you do. Maybe every single morning you light a candle, grab your journal, and you just free write for 5 minutes. 5 minutes is literally so short, meaning everyone can integrate a 5-minute jot down of really a brain dump. If you want it to be more structured, you can obviously follow prompts, but I love the idea of just opening a blank page and just writing down what comes off the dome immediately. I think it's a really good way to release any stuck energy that might be inside of us. Highly recommend doing that practice. There's other rituals, including grabbing your favorite mug to make your morning drink, whether that be your matcha, your coffee, your tea, your electrolytes, whatever you are consuming in the morning. Put it in a beautiful cup, in a beautiful mug. Make it romantic. Another one that a lot of people don't talk about is ice rolling in the morning. Ice rolling is to depuff your face. Usually when everyone wakes up, we are a little puffy in our face, and something about ice rolling really helps to calm your skin down. I have been loving incorporating that into my morning routine. Number two, standing hangouts. This is very important to me. I'm someone who likes to be by myself a lot, but I mentioned in some episodes previously that it's okay to be alone, but when you start isolating yourself, that's when it's negative. So we need to be able to spot the difference. But this standing hangout, this standing meeting with your friends, with other people, this is one way to continue to hold on to hope, continue to hold on to the people who make you feel stable and grounded and loved and appreciated and comfortable. Whoever those people are in your life, you need to seek them out. And even if that means you're finding new people to surround yourself with. Here in New York, I have gone through a few circles of friends, and it's mainly because I want to feel really fruitful around the people who I do invest my time in. That's not everybody. With this standing meeting, standing hangout with your group, I want it to be super intentional for you. And I really want you to think about, what do you want to do with them? And listen to me very closely when I say this next part. This standing hangout is not supposed to be this whole big event. You can go to your friend's house, wear some sweatpants, and chill. You can watch a movie. You can get work done. It's all about sharing space. I saw this on TikTok a few weeks ago. Someone was talking about an admin night with their friends. I think that is an amazing concept. It is essentially you hanging out with probably the same group of people every single week. You come together and you do your laundry list of things that you probably have been putting off. Maybe it is paying some bills. Maybe it is doing a project that you've just been putting off. You can insert anything here. Things that you know you need to do, but essentially having an accountability partner right in the space that you're in is really helpful and really motivating, because you're all doing things that you know that you need to do. I absolutely love that concept. And one of my friends actually texted me that TikTok. So we're going to be doing our admin nights very soon. Another group of friends, we have been having standing hangouts. We have been hanging out on Sundays every single week since September. And that has been a really great way to feel connected to other people, but also, again, have some hope, have something to live for. Especially in the winter, it is really important to not feel alone and not feel isolated. So you need to get out of your own way. And a really, really prevalent way to do that is to just spend time with other people regularly. It's about the repetition that will help you feel so productive, so focused, and ready to take on the rest of this winter. Number 3, which is pretty much a caveat on what I just said, is weekly phone calls. I think it really is important to connect with people who you can't see in person. Of course, we have our loved ones. We have people who don't live in the same places we are in. So keeping up with them is very, very, very important. I've mentioned this on previous podcast episodes, but me and my baby sister, we have a weekly phone call. I literally talked to her for an hour yesterday and we caught up on life. We spilled the tea. We went back in time and really unpacked some things with our childhood that, it was actually really therapeutic, and it made me feel good to tell her some things that I hadn't told her ever. And that's how you really bond with your siblings, right? So that was a really good way for me to feel really uplifted. And I know that it also helped her as well. Take that with you for this winter. Call somebody who you love and you appreciate and you're curious about how they're doing. It's important to connect with the people who we love and we care about. And having a weekly standing call is a really good way to do that. Number 4 is taking time to prepare. So this one is essentially looking inward once more and thinking about ways that we can get ahead of the game and be proactive. In my opinion, being proactive helps you be productive and it helps you stay focused on your goals. A few that I thought of were taking the night before to prep your gym outfit for your early morning workout. This can also look like setting aside 10 to 20 minutes to prep for a project that you've been putting off. This can also look like getting your work clothes together the night before, or even your work bag, making sure that all your essentials are in there so that you really feel ready for your day ahead. Number 5, go to third spaces weekly. So you are seeing a trend. A lot of these are supposed to be done weekly, and that is essentially so you start to build a routine. And it doesn't have to be this hard, cutthroat routine. It's for you to ensure that you stay positive and stay motivated, uplifted, and happy. Doing things weekly sets a repetition in your mind, and it allows you to have something to look forward to. So now on to third spaces. Third spaces are essentially anywhere outside of your home and outside of where you work. Public spaces, a lot of things are third spaces, like a library, a coffee shop, places that you are around other people, mostly people who you don't know, and you're sharing space. That is a third space. For me, it's really important to go to third spaces at least once a week, especially because I work from home, especially because I work for myself. I have found myself in the past getting very siloed into my own little world, and that's where I start to get a little depressed. So I need to pull myself out of it and essentially throw myself into these third spaces. I love going and grabbing a coffee, grabbing a pastry, sitting and working for a few hours, going to the library. Just the fact that other people are around me really gives me calm. You can also people watch, but it is nice to remember that other people are also around you experiencing similar things that you are, and we're all getting through this winter together one way or another. Okay, number 6 is get a physical planner. All right, stick with me. Physical planners, writing things down, pen to paper. I have mentioned this so many times on this podcast, and I believe I talked about this a lot at the beginning of this podcast a year ago, but we're bringing it back because this is very important to me. This is how I live my life. I have a few planners at this point, and I rotate them for different things. I have a daily planner. I have a habit tracker planner. I have a budget planner. I have planners for a few different pockets of life. But why I say get a physical planner is because your digital life is very prevalent and is also really convenient to write things down on the fly. But nothing will compare to crossing something out with a black pen, knowing that it's done, knowing that you've fulfilled a task. There is some type of serotonin you get from that. I fully believe that. You hit a mini accomplishment and it's very tangible by writing something down and getting it crossed off. A few planners that I recommend, first and foremost, is Papier, because I've had a Papier planner every single year since 2019. Papier, if you're listening to me, you should send me some stuff. I have been very loyal to you. I've been talking about you for forever, but I highly recommend their yearly planners as well as their journals, which are just lined journals and you can just write whatever you want on them. Other planners that I've been hearing about and a lot of people are talking about these days is the Filofax planner. I did look it up. It is pricey, but I'm hearing murmurings. A lot of people are talking about this planner. So if you're in the market for a higher end planner, definitely go for it. They look really pretty. So if that's your vibe, go for it. You can also customize them, I believe. Papier, you can also customize the planners, and it's at a good price point. There's also Moleskine. I've heard of Moleskine for many, many years before I even heard of Papier, and I do have a Moleskine as well. There are so many different brands, of course. These are just the three that I have been hearing a lot about, and also I am a true customer of. Planners keep you focused. Planners keep you productive because you are able to physically see the things that you've written down, you know that you need to get done, and being organized is also adjacent to being productive and being focused. We all know this. Number 7 is 15-minute movement minimum. Everyone can do at least 15 minutes of movement, and yes, that literally means you can walk around the block. That's probably 15 minutes, give or take. Movement daily is very, very important to keeping your brain calm and balanced, especially when we're not doing so hot in the winter. We probably don't get a lot of sun because winter, there's not a lot of sun overall. We need fresh air. We need to move our body. We need to shake up the stagnant energy because the stagnant energy is also making us not feel so great. Number 8 is a weekly grocery run. I actually just went to the grocery store right before recording this podcast episode. I love doing a weekly grocery run. This is very different from me even 2 years ago where I was getting 3 weeks worth of groceries and I found that a lot of things were going bad because I wasn't cooking them quickly enough to use them, which is obviously an issue on wasting money, but also I don't want to waste food. I do not want to waste food. And I also want to be very encouraged and motivated to make the meals that I'm buying. I love the idea of getting excited about a new meal. I have tried to do this once a week where every single time I go to the grocery store, picking something semi-new. It doesn't have to be absolutely new. Of course, we can only do so much and we're not trying to overwhelm ourselves, but we are just trying to make things more fun. The point is to make life fun and also to keep our spirits up. As we walk into the grocery store, we think, what is something new that I can do to switch up what I'm consuming? That mind to body connection is so real and it goes so far. I'm actually going to put down in the show description a few recipes that I have made for myself over the last year that I really, really love. I used to actually film a lot of this for YouTube a while back. I would experiment with so many different types of meals and show my audience everything about it from the cooking to the meal prep. And it was really fun. I feel like that was such an era of my YouTube channel that I low-key miss. Maybe I should start doing it again, but it was really fun to be excited about the meals that I was making, and it really helped move along the sadness of winter. Number 9, a proper power down. Every single evening, it is so crucial for you to actually properly power your body down. This means unplugging from the things that are very overstimulating and slowly regressing into a very calm state so that you can actually have a very restful sleep, feel really recharged for your next day. So here's my little formula for a proper power down. First, you need to have a hard stop with work. I get it. Whether you are in corporate, you're doing a 9 to 5, or you work for yourself, every single bucket, there are some times where it's really hard to separate yourself from work and your life to have a true work-life balance. I've struggled with that for years. I've been working for myself for 5 years and I still struggle with it a little bit. But what has been really helpful is to set a hard cutoff time with work. I did mention this, I think, a few episodes past, but I have set my current hard stop time as 7 p.m. With that, I know it's not all done, and that's okay because there's tomorrow and the next day. Nothing has to fully get done in one day. For the most part, there will be times where I'm staying up late to do something because I need to, because it is a priority, a high priority. But on a regular day-to-day, 7 is pretty manageable, pretty doable. So I have a hard stop at 7 p.m. So choose whatever hard stop is your hard stop because everyone's hard stop is different. Then we are going to set the mood in our space. So whether you are in your house or an apartment, wherever you are, you need to curate your space for a proper wind down. For me, this includes setting candles, dimming the lights. We do not do overhead lights over here. they're out. Absolutely not. We're going to put on something extremely comfortable, some matching PJs, whatever you want to put on to just feel like you are separating yourself from your workday. We're going to do our full skincare routine. I actually broke down my current skincare routine in my first YouTube vlog of this year. I can also link that down below, but I love my skincare routine. I've had this same skincare routine for 2.5 years now. My skin is doing great. She's thriving. And it's really important for me to be very, very cognizant of what I put on my skin. And I stand by every single thing I put on my skin. Also, this was formulated by my facialist. She helped me really get into the crux of what was going on. But all that to say, have your skincare routine be a priority for your power down. Skincare is not just your face as well. Remember to put on lotion. We do not want any dry skin, especially with the air of winter is so dry. It cracks your skin. I know this from personal experience, so make sure to put lotion all over your body. Also, don't forget your lips. Everyone forgets their lips. I have forgotten my lips, and I have had years past of really cracked lips, so these lips stay moisturized. You're going to eat dinner, of course, but I actually want to pivot past dinner and talk about the media we're going to consume for our proper power down. For me, it is very important to disconnect completely and watch TV. That's not for everyone. That's okay. But for me, I allow myself to watch one episode of a show. I have criterias for my show watching experience. I really like to watch shows that have many, many seasons so that I know it's something I can look forward to. It's like a little treat every single evening. If anyone's curious, right now I'm watching Nashville. I'm on the beginning of season 3. This show is so good. A lot of people had told me about it in the past and I just never gave it a chance. I don't know why, but here we are watching it. It's actually a pretty old show. And when I say old, it came out, I believe, in 2016. I might be wrong, but it came out about 10 years ago now. It is a gem. It is a very, very good show. I've been watching one episode of Nashville every single night. There are 6 seasons, so I still have a lot of time to watch this show. And then I'm excited to watch future shows. If you have show recommendations, please let me know. I have watched a lot of the very big, popular shows. The criteria for me, I love when they have a lot of seasons, more than 5 seasons. Give me those kind of recs. After we watch our one episode, then we are going to be reading. If you are not a reader, I highly recommend trying to read. I know it is hard to go from not reading or having not read for a long time to going back to reading because that was me. I stopped reading for over a decade and then started it back up again. Last year, I read 27 books last year. This year, we're reading 50. I want to give you guys a little reading update, of course, as well. But something about reading has really helped me slow my nervous system down. And it's enjoyable to hop into a new world and truly disassociate from my reality. It's been such a treat. With that being said, I have read 5 books so far for this year. I read 5 books in January and I'm very, very, very proud of that. I locked in. I said, we are starting this year off with a bang and we are getting it done. If anybody is looking for any book recs, here are some that I've read. So I read Magnolia Parks, which is a romance. I read All the Light We Cannot See, which is historical fiction. I read Funny Story, which is a romance. I read Midnight Beast, which is a thriller. And then I read Us Against You, which is a general fiction novel. So I'm really proud of staying super focused with reading and also hitting a goal that I really wanted to hit. Reading makes you feel really focused and really productive, truly. I think reading is a really great way to expand your mind, to, of course, learn new things, but it also makes you feel productive. You are learning new things. You are actually engrossed in authors and titles and genres that you might have been curious about, but you're now giving it a try. And something about that is really, really great. And also with reading, you will see how time flies. Time literally flies when you're reading. Every single time I sit and read, I find that I want to read for more than an hour. So back to the power down, I have set a timer each night and I read for an hour. You might think that's a long time, but when you're really into a book, you're reading. You are locked in, and there are sometimes, I'll be honest, I have extended it past an hour because I'm just really into the book, and time flies when you're having fun and time flies when you're reading. So I highly recommend trying to get into reading if you are not, but if you're a reader, you already know how fruitful that is. The next item in our power down is something that is pretty niche, and I know a lot of people don't have this, but if you do, use it. If you don't have one, if you're curious about it, get one that's not super expensive, but a red light mask. I got mine 2 years ago and I try to use it every single night. I try to do it for 15 minutes. This is more so for your skin, but also red light, if you didn't know, helps produce melatonin. So it actually starts to activate a true power down to power down your body to get ready for sleep. And last but not least, we are setting a bedtime. We are going back to when we were kids and we had a true bedtime. My bedtime is currently 10:30 p.m., which means I am literally in bed, about to close my eyes at 10:30 p.m. I want to be very honest and say that it's been a little tough to fully stick to that, but that's the thing. I have to try. I have to actually try to do it. If I just keep on doing it incrementally, we will get there, but 10:30 is my current bedtime. And number 10 is future plan an event or a trip for the end of winter. Why I say the end of winter, it almost feels like it's a reward for getting through the harsh winter months. I actually just got back from a trip. I went to Tahoe for one of my best friends, Ariana's 30th birthday. It was so much fun. I had the best time. I did vlog the trip and the vlog will be up soon. So remember to go subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can see visually how everything went down. It was such a fun trip. There were 15 of us on this trip in one house. This house was gorgeous. Anyways, I'll save that all for the YouTube video, but I just went on a winter trip and it was so much fun. Going back to California, which, as a lot of you guys know, I lived in California for 10 years. So there's so much nostalgia there that is unmatched. And it was really, really beautiful weather as well. And I feel like it really helped to cut winter in half, helped to not make it seem like winter was also bad. Winter can be rough, but once we find pockets that we can escape, do it. Escape from it for a hot second to kind of reset your body. And again, just keep the optimism alive. It was a very short trip. I was only there for 3 days, but it was so worth it. I'm so happy that I went. For you to put that into practice, really think about where you can escape to during the winter season if you really want to go during the winter to break up the winter months, or future plan for the end of winter. Do something right at the end of winter, at the top of spring. This will, again, give you something to look forward to. It is about having something to look forward to because that is what keeps us going. And even if it's not a trip, plan an event with your friends and do something fun and fresh and exciting. My friends and I are planning a Valentine's Day party, which I'm so excited about. It's, of course, going to be in February. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, February is a tough month. It really is. But finding those pockets of joy really goes so far. And that's it. That is my list of 10 items to help you stay productive and focused during the winter season. We do have a lot to live for, okay? I know it can get grim and I know that it can get a little tough sometimes, especially in the winter. I know. I literally know from experience, but I also know that there are so many ways that we can pull ourselves out of a negative place and get through it. We are almost there. We got this, and you will absolutely get through this winter season. And with that, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Misunderstood. Remember to rate the show 5 stars on Apple and Spotify and follow it wherever you are listening. Join our Geneva group chat. It is always linked in the description of every single podcast episode. Hang out with me on my other socials, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest at NK Madani. And I will talk to you guys in my next one.